I don't know. I would like to have faith, but I just go off of what I've experienced playing the Storm series for a long time.
A new Naruto Storm game has just been announced and it's coming out this year, and the announcement was a big disappointment. Storm Twitter is not happy about this, but I'm here to maybe offer you a different perspective. Yes, this announcement was very disappointing. I agree. And that's because what you're watching right now is not Storm 4 or any Storm collection that's been released in the past. This is the trailer for the new Storm game. And for us following the scene, we've kept up with the leaks. We saw Bandai filing a trademark for Storm Connections. We were expecting a full sequel to the Storm series, so this was not everything we hoped for. But whose fault is that? We've set these expectations too high, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Because in a world where we didn't know about any of this, the expectation was Storm is done. CyberConnect 2 said they were not making any more Storm games, so that was it. That was the expectation. And in that world, I think this trailer would have been absolutely fine. I don't think it would be the hypest trailer, but it would be on par with something like the Road to Boruto announcement at the time. Now, what I will say negatively about this trailer is that it did not make a good job at clarifying what exactly the game is and what it is doing new. So let's break down everything we know so far, but keep in mind there are still a lot of questions that haven't been answered yet. First of all, this is a new game. This is not a remake of Storm 4. This is not a collection that brings all the Storm games together. This is a brand new game. It has a new title. You're gonna have to buy this game brand new. There is no upgrade path, or at least nothing's been announced so far. I wouldn't expect one. Will this be a full price game? Well, that depends on what you consider full price. Is 60 bucks full price? Because to me, it kind of is. Even if nowadays games are usually more expensive than that, I think 60 is still considered full price, right? Whether or not this game deserves full price, it's gonna depend on how much is new and how much is recycled from Storm. But looking at what they're showing right now and looking at what CyberConnect and Bandai have been doing, I would say this is going to be a similar case to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. It's like a super revamped version of the previous game, bringing new characters, bringing a season pass, a DLC plan. I think that is the treatment that this is going to receive, and JoJo's was not exactly a full price game, but it was maybe a bit more than it deserved to be. Now, what is new about this game in comparison to Storm 4? I believe there will be a new story mode. That story mode will definitely be recycling a lot of stuff from the previous Storm games, and if you look at the description of the trailer, it does say that the game connects key moments from the first 4 Storm series into one game for the first time. That tells me they're recycling a lot of moments. But also this shot of Naruto versus the Shukaku is very much remastered, and I don't think they could get away with just making that boss fight the way it was in the first Storm game, because that did not age well at all. We also know that the game will have new characters, and the first 2 characters they announced are Ashura and Indra. And more will be coming out in the future. These are just the first 2 announcements. Again, my speculation is that they're doing with this game what they did with JoJo, which is take a game that was released in the past, back in an era where DLC wasn't as mainstream as it is today, revive it and make a roadmap, make a DLC plan, and make content in the long term. That's what I think is happening here. But that's speculation. What we do know is that the gameplay is going to be basically Storm 4, but it's going to have a new story, new characters, and revamped graphics, as this is coming out for the PS5. Also, it seems like the PS5 version is going to have 60 FPS, so they're basically making the same mistake they did with Demon Slayer. Because this game for sure is going to have crossplay between PS4 and PS5, which means that if you want to play online or ranked, you're always just going to be playing at 30 FPS. But that's it. That's all we know so far. Now, in between my first reaction to the trailer, which was disappointment, and realizing that that's dumb. This is them reviving Storm, and that should be hype. I needed help to talk through and digest this opinion, so I called Afro. I'll give you a little bit of the call between me and him, and hopefully it will help you process your thoughts on the game as well. If there was no leaks, if there was no Bandai trademarks Storm connections, would this announcement still be disappointing?
No, absolutely not. I think the fact that we are getting it on the PS5 and new characters, I feel like that would have been more focused on without the leaks, right?
I mean, they just did that, right? They just did this with JoJo. I think that's the move here. I think Connections is going to be that game. It's going to be, we're going to sort of quote unquote remake Storm 4, but that doesn't feel as meaningful because JoJo was a PlayStation 3 game. So maybe that feels a little bit more disappointing because of that too. But I think ultimately that's what this is. It's the JoJo model, but they're not using the remaster name. They're not using that kind of branding here, calling it a new thing. Which makes me think there's not even going to be an upgrade path if you already own Storm. You're going to have to buy this brand new.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it just seems... Well, yeah, I don't think they've ever... Haven't they done that before? I think maybe with Kakarot, if I'm not mistaken, you could just upgrade to the higher The PS5 version?
Yeah, that was free.
I'm asking because I don't know. Oh, it's
Yeah,
free. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that was free.
I would hope, but yeah, no. I think with how they're doing the story mode, it's probably like a whole new story that they will probably package in something entirely different than you being able to update. So
I think they're gonna recycle a lot of stuff.
yes,
From the other story modes. I don't think you can recycle the boss fights from the first Storm. Like, that's outdated as hell. I think the final battle is still fantastic. The final Naruto versus Sasuke, even nowadays.
yeah,
If that came out today, that would still be top tier.
I agree. That still holds up crazy. I think the quality of the game isn't necessarily a problem. It's mainly the thing that you mentioned, right? It's like if we didn't have leaks, there wouldn't be people like me and a few others who've heard some of the leaks feeling disappointed. I feel like this would be more exciting, right? Because I feel like I always wanted a Storm 5, but I was realistic that we wouldn't get one based off of what was said with Storm 4 being the final Storm.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think to me that's just like the biggest disappointment here. I mean, going off of the history of how they handled the online before, it's hard for me to expect that we'll have better netcode. It's hard for me to expect that we'll have like a DLC type of thing going on, just because we've seen how Road to Boruto works. They did Naruto full burst.
I think DLC. I think on DLC you might be wrong.
Okay.
I think on DLC, honestly, there was a period of the industry when the Storm games were being made, and CyberConnect was not on the DLC roadmap yet.
Okay.
And I think now CyberConnect 2 is there with Demon Slayer, with JoJo, like, and Bandai Namco too. Like, they know the cash cow they have in Storm. Like, they're not gonna let that go down anytime soon. I think, if anything, Storm Connections is the game they're using to revive Storm. Not necessarily make a new Storm, but revive Storm in a way that allows them to make content long term.
I hope so. That sounds cool to me. I think it's just I think of how we had it in the past. So this will be like a whole entire new route that I haven't truly seen them go down with the Naruto franchise. But with Kakarot, yeah, I can see how there could be hope there, because they are, still pumping in the Kakarot with content. Well, it doesn't have to be story mode DLC, but with characters, right? I think that's the biggest thing people would want. Because it'll be cool to see them add Kawaki, or even keep up to date with when they finally reach to this point in the manga or anime, the older versions of Boruto and Kawaki, which I feel like that's the main thing people would want to play from Boruto anyways, right?
Right.
If they keep up to date with characters such as like the big ones people want to play, or Baryon Mode Naruto, that would be awesome. That in its own would revive Storm. So that would be cool. That essentially would be the equivalent to a Naruto Storm 5, because we're having a very active Storm 4, right? All the newer characters that we're seeing in the series continue on. We're just getting them and I guess to revitalize Storm. So
Yeah.
that would be something.
Resetting the expectations. I think this trailer, if there are new system mechanics in Storm Connections, this trailer did a very bad job.
Yeah.
Because it made it feel like, oh, it's just Storm 4 with a few bells and whistles. I would just pay full price for netcode alone. But do you believe in CC2?
I would like to. I feel like the best, I don't want to quote this wrong, but I knew there was some influence from Capcom within Naruto Storm Generations. And that was like the best online experience Storm had. It seemed like they were copying and taking away from that model, right? That was like the complete online. And then as Storms went on, we got trickled down game modes or features from how that online was. I just feel like it would be trickled down even more. So I don't know. I would like to have faith, but I just go off of what I've experienced playing the Storm series for a long time.
They've let us down too often, man.
But yeah, new netcode would be amazing.
I mean, I think they are kings. CC2 are kings of making anime games.
Yes.
Like, they are peak, absolutely. The one place where they are lacking is netcode. That is the one thing. Thank you, Afro, for helping me put all my thoughts in order. Storm Connections is coming out in 2023. We'll be here to cover all the latest news, so if you're not subscribed to the channel already, make sure to do so. Good to hear that Storm is coming back, because Demon Slayer just came back as well. It is a good time to be a fan of arena fighters. Thank you for watching. Boy.